Welcome to the French Newfie. I'm Erin MacDonald. Today I'm going to be making empanadas, and I really enjoy making them. They're like a kind of like a tapas. I'm sure that they have Spanish and Mexican versions. I'm going to do it for you. It's really, really nice to have as an appetizer, especially in the summertime, because there's a nice punch from the chorizo sausage, which is what I'm going to be using. So it's really easy to make, just a couple of steps. So the chorizo, I'm using a Spanish chorizo. Really love it. It's nice. It's already cooked for you. It's really deep in color because it has tons and tons of paprika in it, and that's what gives it this beautiful, vibrant red color. I want to take the skin off, so I'm just going to peel back the skin because I'm going to be blending it up in my blender, my little mixer, to help me chop it further. So just take off the skin just like that. The casing will come off. And then I'm just going to chop it up so that it can help my mixer a little bit more to get some of the work done. Chop it up just like this. I really enjoy tapas so much. I love Spain. I think it's one of my favorite places to visit because of all the tapas and spicy paprika dishes that they have. So I'm going to get that straight in, just like that. And we're going to chop it up a little bit more. So I'm not going to make too many empanadas because I just want to give you an idea, and of course it's just going to be a little appetizer for Keith and I. So on top of the chorizo that's down inside my little blender here, I'm going to add some nice red onion. Just some chops, roughly chop it. It's going to all come together in there. So get that in there, just like that. I'm only going to use half actually because it's only a little bit of chorizo, and I'll save that for another time. Perfect. Now, what I want to do is just get that mixed up so that way the chorizo turns into almost like a little paste. So get that in, get the top on, and I'm just going to let that go. It's going to go until it's all pasty and it can go inside the empanada. So that didn't take long at all. That was less than a minute. And I can smell the onion, and I can smell the chorizo. I can smell that paprika. It's quite spicy. I forgot to mention that I also bought hot chorizo because I like spice. You know my style. You can usually will tell you it's quite blunt on the, it'll say it. It will read it on the packaging that it is either hot or mild. So it's usually clearly marked. Now, what I'm going to do is just put this here. I'm going to get this off to the side because now I'm moving on to my pastry. So let's get this out of the way. Wonderful. And of course, I bought the store-bought pastry. So this is a short crust pastry. And as you may know, I really do not like to make my own pastries. Why would you when it's done for you? So that's what I do. That's my little cheat here. I'm gonna get a little bit of flour just onto the board so that it doesn't stick. Like that, perfect. Move this off. And then we wanna take our nice short crust pastry and put it onto my board. Like that, boom, off. Now, I'm just gonna take one of these cookie cutters. I don't know why I have a cookie cutter because I don't bake, but I do. I use it for something else. And I'm going to cut circles, and that's what you want. A big cookie cutter, because I like to have bigger empanadas. You want to have some filling. You want to bite into it and have some chorizo, not one little bite, a couple of nice bites. There we go. So there's one, perfect, nice size. So I'm gonna just do another one, just to give you an idea. So I'll do two here today. There we go, just like that. And I'm going to transfer this back over to my parchment paper and wrap it up. Put it in the fridge for another time. Excellent. Now, what we're going to do is move on to the filling. And the filling is very simple, very basic. I didn't put any salt, no pepper, just two ingredients, chorizo and onion. So let's get that into my little pastry round here, like this. Like that, lovely. And it's quite large, so I'm gonna put a tiny little bit more. As I said, they're so good and tasty. And there you go. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of egg wash right around the edge. And of course, that's gonna help it to stick together. What you might notice, and I've done this a couple of times, is that the chorizo might start to come out of your empanada, of the pastry, but that's fine. It looks really pretty. You'll see if it does that, and if it doesn't, better yet. So now you wanna just make it like a little taco, and then fold it over like this. And you wanna work gently with this because it is short crust pastry, so it's quite buttery and tender. You don't want it to rip too much. And then take the fork, put the fork down like this, so you kind of crimp the edges, and not to worry, that egg is going to seal it. There you go. And move on to one more. These are a real treat. I really enjoy these empanadas. You can make a huge batch, and they actually freeze quite well, so that's excellent as well. You can make them in advance, keep them in the refrigerator, maybe with a little bit of damp paper towel, just so that they don't dry out, and then put them in the oven, maybe 15 minutes before your guests come, so they're nice and hot. Again, go in with that nice egg wash, just like that, all around the edges. It's so pretty. With every bite, it's gonna be delicious. So get that down. It's gonna go like a little taco again. And we're just gonna get that like this. And the same as I've done before, take a fork and kind of crimp the end. Nothing fancy here, but you'll see when they come out of the oven, they're really, really pretty. There we go. So I just have some parchment paper. I wanna get that onto there, just like that. Of course, it is quite spicy inside, so I'm gonna get it into the oven, deflour my hands, come back, and I'm gonna make a really cooling yogurt dip, nothing fancy again, and I'm gonna pair it with a really nice wine. Now I've just turned off the oven because the empanadas are done. I could smell the chorizo, and I had a peek in, and actually some of the chorizo and the juice is coming out. It's beautiful. But I did mention that it is hot chorizo. So I want to cool it down with a little dip on the side. And I'm all about yogurt. I just use yogurt for so many dips. Instead of using creme fraiche or something really heavy or a mayonnaise base, I just use yogurt. I find it nice and light, especially for the summer or any time for that matter. Now there is only 2, but if you increase your portion of people, you need to increase your portion of yogurt, your portions of empanadas, and trust me, if you have them for an appetizer or a starter to a dinner party, they're gonna get ate up. There will be none left, I guarantee you. It's a real crowd pleaser. So just a little bit of the plain yogurt and then some lime juice. And I love lime with anything type of Spanish or spicy. I love lime. So just mix that up a tiny little bit. And with my dry hand, I'm gonna get a little bit of seasoning. So a little tiny bit of salt because it's just the lime juice and the yogurt. And lastly, I'm going to get in some chopped cilantro. And again, I love it. It's nice and bright. If you're not a fan of cilantro, maybe go in with some parsley. So just mix that up, really pretty, very simple, but you get a nice burst of that lime juice and the cilantro, and it'll cool down with that spicy, hot chorizo empanada. Perfect. Now I'm gonna take it out and show you. I'm feeling like I should have probably made more because they look so good, and I'm kind of hungry here. So there you go. Let me just get it onto a little board here to show you. Be careful. So as I said, you can see some of the chorizo and that beautiful liquid of the Spanish paprika is coming out of the chorizo. It's really, really nice. This pastry was perfect. I didn't have to spend all day letting it set in the fridge, rolling out the dough. It's perfect, it's done for you. And that's my little cheat. And there's the little cooling yogurt. Now, of course, I have to pair it with something. So I'm pairing it with, of course, a nice Spanish red wine, Rioja. So it's really, really nice. And I really enjoy having a nice full-bodied wine, especially when you're doing something spicy. So let's just get a little drop of that down. There we go. So there you have an easy empanada recipe with some nice red wine to pair with it, and of course a really nice cooling lime cilantro yogurt. I hope that you give it a try. Enjoy.